Okay, folks, we are live again here on the radio, simulcasting at prisonplanet.tv. And we've got the folks here from HDNet TV. And I guess this is for their show, World Report. So we'll plug that coming up. When in September? September 29th. Yeah, I can turn this around, start interviewing you, but you don't want to be on camera. Don't put her on camera unless she wants to later.
It's okay.
Okay, we'll put her on camera. In fact, we would have set one up when we knew you were going to be in here.
Hank?
This is Hank.
How you doing?
And you are, ma'am?
My name's Carol McKinley.
Carol McKinley. You sure are nice. My mom's name's Carol, so I'm kind of partial to women named Carol, yeah.
Where's your mom? Is she in Austin?
She's here in Austin, yeah.
Oh, hi, Carol. So Carol Jones, huh? Likely.
I'm sorry, they're popping in telling you to talk in the microphone.
Oh,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay.
I apologize. Go ahead and start over.
So Carol Jones, likely last name, Alex. Sure, Jones. What's the real last name?
My name really is Jones, but I've had longtime friends that have been like booking me plane tickets, and they go, "Okay, is Jones really your name?" Yes, my name's really Alex Jones.
Well, it's good to be here. Thanks for letting us come in. I guess you don't usually let reporters come in?
I don't have as much as I used to. Well, I mean, here's an example. Well, the Wall Street Journal wanted to come for a couple days. And as a big writer, wanted to do a front page story. And I told her, I said, if this isn't a hit piece, her name was Sarah McBride, I said, it's not going to be published. And she said, no, they always publish my stories. I'm one of their big writers. And I said, okay, just watch. I'm going to do this to teach you how it really works. And also she called Ted Anderson that owns the radio network I'm on, and Ted's like, come on, let her talk to you. So she came here and I stopped for a day or so, talked to her, and then she wrote the piece, and they came back and said, change it again. They said, you know what, we're not giving Alex Jones any attention, because the mainstream media has figured out, even if they lie or spin or attack us, because the piece really wasn't a very friendly piece. It wasn't a negative piece, but it was fair, as they'd call it. It had some negative things in it. Even negative stuff, just people actually find out what we're really doing instead of what fake image was put out. Because the mainstream media has so little credibility, in my experience, the big dominant channels. But that's why I did do the interview, because I know Mark Cuban, according to the New York Times, I knew about it behind the scenes, but had just heard a little bit, talking to Charlie Sheen at the time. He was going to put out the Loose Change final cut. And suddenly he was getting threats from the Securities and Exchange Commission, phone calls, emails, saying, we're going to put you in jail for this loose change thing. So then they dug up that he'd sold a tiny amount of stock or something and indicted him. And he said, I'm not going to go along with this. I'm going to fight you. This is political. And then he released the emails of them threatening him. And I think the people that did that should go to jail. So I'm saying that's why, I mean, I'm sure it'll be a 50-50 piece. I know Mark does all kinds of stuff, and he doesn't control what all his people do. But my point is, I'm doing it because it is HDNet, just to see what happens. But yes, we do turn down a lot of TV, because we can have them in for 10 hours, and they'll just show the one time I, rub my nose or something. or they'll zoom in on a coffee stain on the carpet or something. I mean, that kind of theater of the mind thing they do with the language of film. And so that's what's going on. But instead of me ranting at you, I do want to get into the militia analysis. Carol, anything you want to say to the audience out there?
Well, we're doing a story on the resurgence of the militia, and I haven't found yet that that's really happening. I mean, we know that on the Internet. I'm seeing a lot more on the Internet. So you're our first interview. And we're going to Michigan in 2 weeks, and so right now I'm just gathering as much information as I can.
Michigan's good, but it's a giant nest of federal operations. I mean, you're probably going to be talking to, I would say 9 out of 10 people that are going to come out and want to talk to you are going to be either federal informants or special forces operators.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
So we should watch out.
No. I mean, they're going to act like clowns for you. So, I mean.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So, I mean, no, this is all theater of the mind. So, I'm just saying Michigan was where they ran their main operation in the 90s, pre-demonization, before the Fed staged Oklahoma City.
Do you think that more and more people in America are turning to militias because they're unhappy with the way the government's being run now? Do you think that's true?
The people see the illegitimate actions of the government. They see the $23.7 trillion stolen in 10 months. More than double the GDP. They see the government doing unconstitutional things across the board while amassing paramilitary forces, announcing 400,000 combat troops to be deployed. The government saying gun owners are terrorists, veterans are terrorists, Ron Paul supporters are the big threat. And so, yes, we've seen all-time records for a solid year, gun buying and purchasing. And the real militias aren't going to talk to you. You're never going to see them, and they're everywhere. And usually it's 4 or 5 good friends, former military, who have a little shooting club. And they, in fact, print me off the Gadsden flag quote again. I think that's good to describe the real militia. What Benjamin Franklin said about it. Why our original symbol was not the eagle, it was the rattlesnake. And the Marine Corps' first symbol was not the anchors, but the rattlesnake, because it's not looking for trouble, but its eyes are never blinking. It's always got, it's always watching, and it rattles its tail and says, "Don't tread on me." And so the people are arming up in mass, and they're aware of the FEMA camps, they're aware of the entire agenda, and they're ready to defend the Republic. And but they're not looking for trouble. It's defensive. They're not out to attack, and they understand the provocateurs. They understand whoever shoots first loses. But they're also ready that as the tyranny pushes them into a corner, like Lexington and Concord, they're going to stand up for their rights. And then the establishment, who are bullies, will probably fire the first shot in the Second American Revolution. And then all hell's going to break loose.
Do you think that's going to happen soon?
I would say it's 50-50 that in the next 2 years, you will see the start of a real revolution in the United States, a violent revolution in response to people being attacked. And pregnant mothers being tasered, and CPS kidnapping people's children, and the whole prison economy just squeezing and pushing and pushing and never stopping. But I'm fighting to stop that and to reach out to military and police and others. You know, Ron Paul got more contributions than any other presidential candidate in both parties from the military, 70+%. So the truth is, these offshore banks that have hijacked our government and want to use the military and Northcom against us, it's going to fail.
So what do you think that the real militias, as you call them, the ones where they've got the 4 or 5 friends who go out and they practice, what are they preparing for? What is it that
they're not going to quarantines? They're not letting anybody take their children. They're not taking forced inoculations. They're not going to be forced on government welfare. And as the establishment shuts the economy down by design and forces people under, see, they're advertising the camps as if they're a good thing. They're advertising it as if it's going to be a community center, just like Hitler did or just like Stalin did. But let me just read you before I play this FBI video, and then we'll come back and I'll do a whole rant. You can ask any questions you want on air if that's what you'd like. The Gadsden flag is a historical American flag with a yellow field depicting a rattlesnake coiled and ready to strike. Positioned below the snake is the legend, "Don't tread on me." The flag was designed and is named after American general and statesman Christopher Gadsden. It was also used by the United States Marine Corps as early... Don't forget her mic, guys. The flag was designed and is named after American general and statesman Christopher Gadsden. It was also used by the United States Marine Corps as an early motto flag. So it must be bad. And then this is the flag that Homeland Security in the report says is so deadly, so evil, so horrible, even though the Army and the Marine Corps and everybody else uses it. So I thought people should actually find out what it means. As the American Revolution grew closer, the snake began to see more use as a symbol of the colonies. In 1774, Paul Revere added it to the title of his paper, The Massachusetts Spy, as a snake joined to fight the British dragon. In December of 1775, Benjamin Franklin published an essay in the Pennsylvania Journal under the pseudonym American Gosser, in which he suggested that the rattlesnake was a good symbol for the American spirit. I recollect that her eyes excelled in brightness than that of any other animal, and that she has no eyelids. She may therefore be esteemed as an emblem of vigilance. She never begins an attack, nor, when once engaged, ever surrenders. She is therefore an emblem of magnanimity and true courage. As if anxious to prevent all pretensions of quarreling with her, the weapon which nature has furnished her, she conceals in the roof of her mouth, so that to those who are unacquainted with her, she appears to be most defenseless animal. And even when those weapons are shown and extended for her defense, they appear weak and contemptible. But their wounds, however small, are decisive and fatal. Conscious of this, she never wounds till she has generously given notice, even to her enemy, and cautioned him against the danger of treading on her. Was I wrong, sir, in thinking that this is a strong picture of the temper of American conduct? So that is what the terrorist, Benjamin Franklin, had to say about the Gadsden flag. And why do I say terrorist? I have FEMA on video from 2000, shot by a firefighter in Kansas City. In the training seminar, and we've seen the training manual itself. This is the only time we were sent it being taught, said that the founding fathers are terrorists, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, they're terrorists, America's bad, these are the enemies of the federal government. And so we broke that as well. But a world exclusive right now, this was sent to us. This is a 2006 Quantico terrorist training video. This was sent to us by someone saying they were with the FBI. We've called the FBI, confirmed this is one of their training videos, but this is not on the web. First time it's ever been seen. Your taxpayer money paid for this paranoia, this induced schizophrenia to show police, military that are now involved in law enforcement illegally, and the FBI that everyone's a terrorist. And that's why when you're with your family photographing the Washington Monument, police come over and ask why you're doing it. As if terrorists, real terrorists that weren't CIA or MI6, wouldn't go and just look at Google Earth or have a hidden camera. It's ridiculous. It's about training you that you're a terrorist.